Whoa, this is what happens when I wash my hair. Pretty freaking glorious. I wanted to jump on here and share something with you that I was talking about in my coaching group last night because it's super valuable, and I just wanted to share this with you because it might completely change your life and it might plant a little seed. It's all about knowing ourselves, to know thyself, to know ourselves as a creator of our experience. We are constantly making choices, right? So let's bring it right back down to the basics of these choices. Is your choice coming from love or is it coming from fear? Where does fear-based choices come from? Because if you feel anxious and you have a tendency to come up with these worst-case scenarios about the future, the thoughts that you're having and the emotional charge behind them is actually going out as a frequency, and you will create those worst-case scenarios because you are that powerful. So to know thyself, to understand how the mind works, is really powerful, because then we're not just being thrown around by all of our fears the whole times. And most of these fears aren't even our fears. They've kind of been programmed and conditioned into us just by being a human being in modern society. So let's talk about the mechanics of the mind, because it's amazing, right? This is really helping me in finding more peace in my life, basically, right now. And understanding where fear-based choices come from. So let's talk about the mind. The ego mind, the job of the mind, which it does incredibly well, that has led to humanity's continuation of our survival as a species. Rule number one, survive. We must continue living. That's the first rule. And so that's like the default animal mechanism of the mind, and all animals, right? We are also animals. But if we're constantly being thrown around by our animalistic mind to just try and survive everything the whole time, we're going to be stressed out constantly. And this is why we get sick. This is why life becomes really painful. So if you want to improve your life and you want to improve the quality of your human experience, which I certainly did for a while, I was like, fuck, I need to be stressed less. I just want to feel peace. I just want to feel peace. How can I do that? So I've been on this mission to try and understand, and now I'm sharing this with you because maybe you want to feel some peace as well, because life, like I was saying in my last video, I'll link it in the description, go and watch it. Life is just like this. It goes up and down, and we expand and we contract and we expand. It's like we're breathing. The whole universe is breathing. And so we're in trust and then we're in fear. We're in love and we're in fear. And we're in the light and then we're in the dark. So let's talk about when we go into the dark. Where does that fear come from? Well, it turns out that the mechanics of the mind are literally trying to predict the future to avoid potential danger and fear. Seems like a logical thing to do, right? In fact, that intelligence is what has meant that humans have done so well. That's why we're still here. You wouldn't be here to have the experience of being a human being right now if it wasn't for this part of the mind, if it wasn't for the ego. So stop demonizing the ego. Stop demonizing the part of you that naturally has a default setting to try and think about the worst thing that could possibly happen, because it's just trying to save you from it. Now, if you're feeling anxious and frightened about the future, it's usually, or if you're feeling any kind of anxiety, it's usually because you're either pondering about things in the past that you wish could have been a different way, or you should have done this, should have done that, or this person shouldn't have done this and should have, or you're in the future naturally trying to predict what might be dangerous and bad for you in order to try and avoid it. Yet, nothing we can do about the past, and actually really not a lot we can do about the future, except for not worry about it. So all the time we're in the future, we're literally creating these stories and these fantasies that are worst case scenarios. Take a few deep breaths. With each breath, you can bring your consciousness back out of your mind and into your body. Right here, right now, there is nothing that is trying to kill you. There is nothing that you need to be stressed about. And so you can just be present with this moment. And that is a surrender. It's like relaxing. That is coming back to love that is available in this present moment. That is releasing the tendency to be in fear. And the interesting thing about that is I was always taught that the strongest thing I can do is force reality to be the way that I want it to be. That's what strength is. But actually I'm discovering that strength is the ability to surrender and actually soften. It is strength. It takes so much strength to soften into reality, into the truth, into this moment, and trust in the power of love rather than the forcing nature of the mind to try and force reality to be in a certain way, to try and force the future to be in a certain way. The loving, relaxing, softening acceptance, that's powerful. That's trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in that you're not alone. Trust that you're not alone and you don't have to force things and do them. It's not just you. You're co-creating with God, with the universe, with Great Spirit, with the Sky Daddy, whatever this big force is that is bigger than you. Trust that. You can only trust that when you're fully present in the moment. And you can trust that your mind will take you away from that trust and think, oh, if I don't do something about this, this is going to happen. Trust, love, soften, relax. And as we do that by breathing nice and deeply, meditating, pulling ourselves back into the present moment, our nervous system relaxes. Because when we're in fear, our sympathetic nervous system is activated. Fight or flight, where's the tiger? Let's avoid the danger. But there's actually very rarely any danger in this present moment. Sometimes there is. And then let that sympathetic nervous system keep you alive. Jump out the way of the bus, run away from the person, whatever the danger is. But can you notice when you're feeling the fear, but there's actually nothing to be scared of right now? If you can, take those few deep breaths, bring yourself back into the present moment, soften, relax, and then your nervous system goes into the parasympathetic nervous system response, which is to rest and digest. All the time that we're anxious, we're not actually digesting our food properly. All the time that we're anxious, we're not actually digesting and releasing our emotions properly. We're tense, we're holding it all in. Oh, gotta hold it. That's forcing it. Power is to release, surrender the need to know. Surrender the need to know about what might be coming in the future. How often have you thought you knew what was coming and then it was something different? Most of the time. It's impossible. It's impossible to really accurately predict the future. And if you are thinking negative thoughts, you're dreaming up and imagining worst case scenarios, and then your emotional energy is responding to that, you're giving energy to that potential outcome and then actually increasing the probability of it happening. This is self-mastery. This is knowing yourself. This is knowing yourself as the powerful creator and taking back the power of the mind and making it work for you. Let me know if this has been helpful for you. Let me know if these videos are helpful. I'm sending you so much love, and reach out if you need support. I love you guys. Peace.